Nathan Lester, town manager.
All right, let's go get started. So, you want to do an invocation?
Yes.
All right, you want to lead us? Sure. All right.
Lord, thank you for today. God, thank you, Lord, for your grace and for your mercy. God, thank you, Lord, for this meeting. Lord, I pray, God, you give us wisdom and discernment. Now, I pray, Lord, you help us to make the decisions, God, we need to make, whether hard or wherever it may be. Lord, I just want to thank you for all that you've done here in the town. Thank you for the blessings that you've given us, God. And I pray, God, you continue to bless Taylorsville. Lord, bless our first responders and our police department, God. I pray, God, you touch and guide and lead and protect them. God, we just ask you to help the employees here at Town Hall, God. I pray you bless them, help them, and guide them. Lord, we just want to thank you and praise you for all you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance real quick.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on our agenda is a resolution for that industrial incentive program we adopted at the last meeting. I should have provided you with this resolution to go along with the ordinance that we did for it. Not the ordinance, but the adoption of the program itself. So I would like for you to approve it today. It's nothing that we haven't discussed in the public hearing. It doesn't promise anything other than what you all discussed in the public hearing and agreed to and voted on. It's just a resolution stating that we'll do the program and abide by the parameters that we set, and it's a good thing for the town.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That motion is so ordered.
All right, next item on the agenda is the water shortage response plan. Some proposed changes we'd like to make in that. Aaron, do you want to speak on this?
So every year, or at least every 5 years, we have to revise it. The last revision was in 2023, but I'm looking at it now that we are looking to have to implement it. There was a few things that need to be changed on it. The biggest thing was just it listed Nathan as the town manager instead of myself. There was a couple kind of typos that I revised in the verbiage for each of the stages. Like stage 1 was saying a minimum of a ½ inch of water when irrigating instead of a maximum. We kind of reworded that. Other than that, it's basically the same one that we have passed for years now. So in order to revise it, we have to publish our draft for 30 days and then it can be formally adopted by the council. Just to give the citizens the ability to see the draft before and have any input before it's done. So the revision was done on April 17th, so hopefully at the next workshop in May, we can pass it on.
So that's on the public hearing.
No, it was not for the revision itself. The original draft had a public hearing. The revision don't. It just has to be publicized. I got it on the website and got it out from Town Hall for anybody that wants to look at it. But like I said, there's not no major changes. And speaking of that, we are in stage 1 voluntary reduction at the moment. Honestly, within a matter of a week to a couple weeks at most, we'll be looking to go into stage 2. The state did send, because Alexander County, the northeastern half of it, is in the extreme drought condition now. If any portion of the county is in extreme, we now have to report our water usage to the state on a weekly basis. So we're going to get readings weekly and turn them in to the state.
So
So that brings the question up that I asked Nathan Saturday about the splash pad. Is that staying open or is it gonna be curtailed?
We are trying to allow it to stay open as long as possible. From a revenue standpoint, because once we go into mandatory restrictions, or actually it's mandatory or maybe the third portion of it. I think it's stage 3 that you can no longer, or you're not supposed to fill swimming pools, kiddie pools, and all that. So at that point, we will have to shut it down. But I told Josh to turn the light open for the time being.
And I kept waiting for Mike to send somebody to the house Friday night. I washed my wife's car to get all the pollen off of it. And then I texted Nathan and I said, are we voluntary still?
So what happens to like car washes and pressure washing businesses and stuff that go out and do that stuff?
Car washes are supposed to have a water reduction measure in place, and like the one at 16 at Walmart, they recycle some of their water. They have a filtration system that recycles part of the water. So it's supposed to use less water than just you using the water hose outside. So in stage 3, it prohibits you from using or washing vehicles, hard surfaces, etc., and prioritizes commercial and industrial users to reduce the water usage so they can control how much water they recycle.
So that makes sense.
Like the pressure
Stage 3,
washers.
so I'm okay if I'm preparing for this thing and I trimmed a bunch of bushes and now have all this exposed mold. If I hit that, I mean not mold, it's mossy green crap. If I hit it with a pressure washer, somebody, well, I'm probably gonna get called on anyway, so. But it's okay to do it.
That's okay now, yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
Hurry up, do it.
The biggest,
Yeah, do it.
I have the town to do it for you. No.
The biggest reason Energy United jumped straight to mandatory is because they now purchase water from Statesville, and all of our county is in the extreme rate. The state didn't even tell them to go into mandatory restrictions yet. It was coming. Statesville jumped the bandwagon and went ahead and went into it, which forced Energy United to, technically, because we buy water, or our water comes through Energy United, we should, but because it's coming from Newton on the opposite side, we're okay for the time being. The state's not concerned with it. Probably come May 1st, there should be some more information coming down from the state and more people will be on restrictions. I know Raleigh started yesterday with their restrictions. So it is coming. We're just going to fight it as long as we can because
And pray that it rains this weekend like they're saying it's going to.
yeah.
That would help.
Yeah,
Do it all. Won't give us
we need a
13
very-
inches we need,
Right.
but it will, every little bit helps.
Yeah, maybe we can get an early season hurricane to come through and give us some rain.
Watch what you wish for.
I mean,
Well, the winds are.
Drop the brush.
no, but we do need,
Yeah.
we need several days of just soaking rain. I know we do.
All right, we're gonna move on to, solid waste ordinance, proposed amendments. We'll go ahead and turn to page, 19 in your agenda packet. Should be for our ordinance, section 50.14, special collection yard waste, bulk items.
Page what?
19.
Do y'all have, red text in the last paragraph of your page? It's just all black?
It's all black.
It's all black.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I edited this and it was supposed to, I guess I didn't know how to work that right, to be able to show you what was there and what's proposed, but I'll just read it to you so that I can tell you what's different. So in section 5, All tree trimmings and limbs or portions thereof will be collected when the trimmings and limbs are cut from the stump or the body of the tree and placed at the edge of the lot adjoining the street. That's the same as it is now. They must be cut in lengths not to exceed 10 feet. It is longer than it is for us now, and not be over 6 inches in diameter, which is bigger than what we currently take, and shall be placed at the edge of the lot with larger ends placed in the same direction, and neatly piled substantially perpendicular to the ends placed in the same direction, and neatly piled substantially perpendicular to the curb, which is the same. It will be considered excessive collection if the collection of limbs shall require more than one truckload, which is currently, or more than 30 minutes of labor, which is new. It's based off some other towns around us. Whichever is less from the same location on the same day. Additional loads.
There's a typo right there.
There is. Will be collected as time permits. Removal of such limbs by hauling shall be free of charge, provided that the quantity of such material should not exceed 1 truckload by volume, as determined by the Public Works Director or his designee. The volume of limbs and cuttings exceed a truckload. The volume of fee at the rate set in the current schedule of fees will be charged and will be invoiced by the billing department of Town Hall. Town collection forces or its authorized agent will not collect tree stumps or trunks, which is the same as it is now. So we increased the length of the limbs and increased the diameter. Kept the 1 truckload the same. Added in the 30 minutes time limit because, Scotty's kind of the only one with Malachi now, a part-time guy picking up limbs. So I'm open the floor to discussion on that, and we'll just see how we feel.
We don't have a chipper, right?
We have an old chipper.
Dangerous.
So no, yeah, we're gonna have a chipper. We take it to the landfill, and then I think twice, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, they have a company come in and they chip all of the brush that's taken from everywhere in the county.
Has Scotty talked with you about these? I mean, he picks it up. Does he talk with you about these restrictions and the way it's laid out?
I haven't talked to him specifically about the new restrictions. I mean, he works pretty hard now, as it is, and over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think he's taken 14 loads to the landfill now. 12 of them have been brush, 2 of them have been bulk items. So it's increased already that we're starting to. So
Well, he may have some
He
feedback.
does work hard, that's for sure. I appreciate what he does.
He honestly is not gonna say a word.
He's not.
He's out there, he's collecting, picking up, and
Would it help him?
if he has a big load, he'll call, and somebody will go out with the tractor and have him pick it up. But,
Do these limits and stuff, I know they're set for like year round, but like in the incidents of a natural disaster and trees come down and people are just cleaning up the stuff, if it exceeds that, are we gonna like not pick them up during that? Or are we gonna make exception for natural disasters and stuff?
no, if we're under a state of emergency,
We'll pick up
especially
whatever.
if FEMA's government,
Yeah.
we'll pick it up.
Just want to make sure.
And if it's too much, if in that instance it's too much, then we look at bringing somebody in to help.
I mean, because I can remember about 5 years ago or whatever, we were with those trucks, so we pick up limbs and put them in the back of the truck. And so,
just give me
Would it be feasible in the future to purchase a chipper?
So what you say?
Would it be feasible in the future to purchase a chipper to make it easier on him?
I mean, is that something that would help y'all? Like having a chipper, a new chipper?
okay, if you don't mind.
The only kicker with the chipper is, once it's full, you gotta unhook the chipper to be able to dump it at the landfill. I don't know, at this point, I don't know that
Okay.
you carry more. We couldn't have a private site to dump the chips unless we went through the state and got a permit for a dump site.
Still have to take it to the landfill.
Yeah.
It still has to go to the landfill itself.
We can't take it to the firing range.
No. That came up during 2020 FEMA stuff, you're supposed to have a permitted site for all of our chickens, which is why we hauled everything from the park. So we don't feel got rid of it, because if they catch you, then,
You'll be fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or if it's for FEMA related stuff, they won't really. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not, it may not be, I don't know what the process is to get permitted. Josh Mitchell can probably give you more information on that. To look into that.
If we
Safety becomes an issue too, liability with the chipper.
Yeah.
I mean, they're dangerous, they are.
Yeah.
Just as a suggestion, I know come Brooksboro, they have a chipper, they can eating and everything, chip it up, and they pile it somewhere at their sites, and then towards the fall, they open it up for what they don't use for town. They open it up to the citizens of the town to come and collect for free. Use
There's
it
a
for-
lot of towns that do that.
Newton does it, does not, or
County does it too, at the landfill.
I know that Newton chips theirs up, so they probably do open it up.
Where do you think would be, if we were gonna go that route, of getting a site? Where, I mean,
Is there room down at Junebug Loop?
You have to purchase some land around the treatment plant.
The only place I know of, and it wouldn't hold it all now, we would have to get rid of it more often, would be potentially at the Olive Garden. That's what we.
Town gardens. Oh, okay.
The community garden.
Community garden.
That was
Yeah,
what we
because I
always
was so
called it.
asked
was
about
Olive-
that.
We used to always call it the Olive Garden.
yeah, I was gonna ask about it, but that was the place I was thinking,
Yeah.
if
We could potentially do it there, and unless, and that's what's known in the budget, salt and slag.
I guess my point, would it save us money in the long run to chip it up and to store it ourselves? And then, like Nicole said, that's actually what I was thinking, just get it away in the fall. Maybe the following year where it's aged a little bit.
I mean, you save, of course, you're buying a chipper, so you buy that upfront cost. You would save your gas back and forth from the landfill, you go save the landfill fees.
Right.
Because the proposed rate is $25 a ton starting this year for us, where we haven't been paying in the past.
so that's on a pretty
Yes,
significant.
substantially. So you'll see that when we cover the budget. So the cost is substantial. But I think, if we're not paying that at the county, we have our own site, and yes,
It would
over
eventually.
the long term, eventually,
Yes.
I guess we would break even on it. So the maintenance and of equipment is going to be our biggest thing.
And then the liability insurance on it. I will say, the chippers, the chips that the chippers spit out are different from the mulch that you get
Yeah.
at the.
Most of
But
the
you
stuff you buy is like bark mulch, it's just,
Right.
it's
And it's
just
double
double
ground.
ground up. This is pretty much like
Long.
wood chips,
Yeah.
basically.
It's a good base layer. If
Yeah.
you're just getting started, or if you've got banks you want to cover, it works great. But for
And if you store it for a few years, it can eventually break down. I mean, eventually you need topsoil,
yeah, that's what that down there was. The top layer was mulch,
And
with the bottom.
But
layer
yeah,
was just-
if you stir it every so often, it'll break down enough, especially if you put maybe, I don't know, y'all do like grass clippings or anything like that. But, yeah, I mean, it'll eventually break down the topsoil. You can buy it on a truckload or something, whatever.
Right.
As long as you turn it.
These are pictures currently of what Scotty's picking up, so you can see these limbs and stuff. We got those.
Seen that the other day.
These are trunks. We don't typically pick those up, but now, depending on which direction you guys want to go, even in our changes, we don't pick up trucks. So we got to add to the weight when we go to the dump. You see they've clear cut these trees. and then they haul them to the road. We typically don't pick up root balls and stuff, but our guys got these anyway just because it looked awful. Laid there beside the side of the road. Because it's technically a stump, but I mean, you know, they picked it up and took it away, no problem. So that kind of stuff, those are small trees. We can get away with that. These trunks, there's the house from the first picture. So you cut down all these trees and de-limb them. You know, we take the limbs, like I said, with this trunk, we typically don't haul those away. So they're.
Was that being done by a commercial, or was that being by the owner? By the owner.
Yeah. All right, any more discussion so far on like the wording that I put in here for tree removal? Do you want to see anything different? Anything added?
I still have an issue where we say we're not, if a person wants to clean up some debris on their property, that we're not gonna pick that up. But yet, people that live in apartments, we're picking up their beds, their washing machines, their refrigerators.
Well, I have a hard time saying that this is debris. Like you purposely cut down this tree. Now, if you just de-limbed it, like this guy did here, and you left it, then we would take those limbs. But you purposely removed this tree from your property, so it's not technically debris. Like you're doing tree removal on your own property. Now, you're beautifying your own property in your own defense, and that's what you wanted to do. If y'all want us to pick that up, as you'll see in the budget, it's going to be a significant cost. Right? It's going to cost us to do that. So if that's what you want, you need to tell me that we want trunks of a certain size in here, so that at some point we can say no, because at some point the tree's going to be too big.
I was running back to the picture that around the dog lot. See all that grapevine or whatever?
Right.
But somebody cleans that off?
Oh yeah, we're taking that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you pile that off the road, we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was referring to.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because that's the same story I keep getting over on Apple Lane. And we know between 6 and 7.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know that happens. Does that really happen that often?
The tree removal?
Well,
People doing that and
size.
having that kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
really?
We're at number 5 or 6 within a month now.
A huge tree down?
No, just stuff like this.
It's a hedgerow.
Well,
Yeah, like, I mean, well, there's 2 of those on Main Street that are
Well,
gonna
I mean,
need to come down.
Scotty's thinking 14 roads this month already.
I mean, he said this month, he's saying for months, you're gonna have to wait through the month. I know.
On either side of the road, that one.
Yeah, 'cause it's just the 21st.
Yeah, and the one where the big 2-story house with the columns is for somebody who's bought it, not real. You can't find a policy that they'll take it out there. I bet they'll have a tree service there.
I mean, I'm not arguing the service that we provided. I think there has to be some type of compromise between us and the community on what we're able to provide.
Well, I understand that tree on the left. That's asking too much for one guy to
Or even 2 guys. I mean, like we'd have to get we have a tractor running with our brush truck now, picking up stuff with the grapple. So, you know, that brings into question, if I take my grapple and pick that up, and then I cut that yard up and put it in the brush truck, and they start calling y'all and complaining that their yard's torn up.
Yeah.
Oh, we need you to come
And
out
that
and
will
see
happen.
And that would
reseed
happen.
our garden.
So it's just always going to be like
And
a thing. So we got to figure out like where we stand on it, like what we're willing to provide you, and then what we're willing to make y'all do on your own, because we don't want to provide that.
They could have hauled that off to the landfill themselves, right?
Yes.
Or at the very least, cut it into
Small
Much
sections.
like
Much smaller.
firewood type pieces.
Yeah. Right.
Somebody might have picked it up. For
all you have to do is set it out.
I said ciphers, Leland ciphers,
Yeah.
the ones that need to come down all over town.
Well, that's my neighbor.
It's gonna, yeah, and then those two right there. going toward the-
You sit outside and you put the wood
Yeah, they're gonna
up.
take it.
Oh,
Yeah, that thing, she don't bring
Two, one, right.
You should, you know, she Oh,
Bill Miller.
Yeah.
What, yes, it was.
Is it sold? No, the one across the road was there.
All right, hearing no objections to the verbiage and the proposed changes, we're gonna move on to budget. All right. Currently last year, we budgeted $949,750 in ad valorem. It's just not property tax, that involves some other taxes as well, such as your motor vehicle tax. Our other taxes is our main source of revenue. It's the sales taxes, franchise taxes, telecommunication taxes, etc. Then we have miscellaneous from like ABC revenue and permitting and fees, and then you can see a breakdown on different levels of funding. And you can see that streets and sanitation and police take up the majority of that. How we, if you look at the percentages of the police is 54% of our budget, and streets is 21%, and everything else is varying. So if you apply that unilaterally across the board, that would give you the contributions you see here with your ad valorem and sales tax, and what you would be able to take from our sales tax revenue to fund those departments, and then what you would be able to take from sales tax, and the gap that would still be left over needed from our miscellaneous revenue. So you can see that our ad valorem revenue brings in funds less than 50% of all of our departments. Sales tax revenue funds over 60%, and then the miscellaneous brings up the last 10. Before we get started, I want to talk to you about the town of Taylorsville and our fire tax district. This is the city limits of Taylorsville. This is our ETGA in the green. So the light blue here, teal, whatever you want to call that, is the city limits. We've got our satellite stuff around here. And then the green is our ETGA.
Yeah. So now it's purple.
So now it's purple city limits. This gray, brown, weird color is the ETJ. And all this light purple, see this light purple here around? That's the central Taylorsville Fire District, which includes all of this. So if you live in the town, you pay 35 cents tax, and you get the same level of service that the people that live out here get, and they pay county taxes and an 8-cent fire tax.
But we pay county tax too.
You do pay county taxes too, but you don't pay a fire tax. So I'm just telling you that as the fire department has requested more funding for y'all to consider with the budget. But you only give them 5 cents. So that's 65 cents if you live in the town for the county, and 35 cents, which is 70. When you live out in town, you get 73 with 65 plus 8 cents fire tax for the county. So 3 cents more. So they're asking for 3 cents. So just informing everybody of that before we move on with the budget discussion. All right. Let's look at our budget. Right now, we have put a lot of stuff in the budget. It's not balanced, as it says on there with your watermark. Water and sewer is pretty much where it needs to be. General fund has a good bit of work to work on. I'm going to give everybody a checklist that you can look at and think about later. Mark off what you want to fund as we talk about each department throughout the discussion. So we're going to move through this page by page pretty much. If you look at the first page, our current revenues are at $2.9 million for general fund, and then our expenditures are at 3.5. That's because we have most of everything on this checklist that I gave you in the budget, We haven't put the necessary amount of revenue in there to show you the discrepancy between having some of the stuff that we've talked about having and where we would get that revenue from as we continue to talk about in the budget. Now, a lot of these expenditures, if you look down halfway through the phrase where I've highlighted investment earnings, you'll see there's a decline there from 116 last year to 96,000 this year. This is because me and Aaron have budgeted this as if we pull 750,000 out of our CD across the street and put it in the North Carolina Management Trust, which still draws a little bit of interest, but not as much as the CD does, in order to pay for some of these expenses on the left. That would be one-time expenses.
And interest rate changes.
And interest rate is most likely going to drop from what we locked in last year at 5, I think, to
4
or something. Yeah, so we're going to lose a whole percent. Let's, if you can turn to page 9, general fund revenues.
It starts at 24.
It's this one.
I think so.
Yes, just in the budget, yeah.
Okay.
Did you get your, who's 9? I gave you the, yes. Yeah, 9 on the actual.
Okay.
I printed this one out.
Sorry, gotcha.
That's okay. 9 in the budget, not the agenda pack, sorry. All right, if you look at the top, very first line, our projected property tax revenue at this year at same 35-cent rate is $886,739. If you look down halfway through the page, we're actually stuff highlighted. Investment earnings are, like I said, down, so that shows you that 96 there. And then our ABC revenue will continue to project that less than what we did last year because we're only going to make about $50,000 this year from the ABC store as they continue to get better.
Why would it go down?
Because they are giving us what the state is telling them to give us. They have like a little worksheet that they do, and they put in what their sales are, and they bring me a check every few months, and that's what it's brought up to this year. Currently, this year in ABC revenue, received year to date were $40,475. We projected 80, so we're not going to meet that at all. And I don't think we'll get another check this year because they have to wait to do their audit before we get another check. So we're only going to make about half of what we budgeted to make from them. The last check we got was $12,170. Typically, Catawba County would give us a $20,000 check every quarter. I don't necessarily think that $20,000 was coming from our store. I just think they took $20,000 out of their funds to pay us because they said that they would every year. Our store is in the top 25 percentile in the state this past year in sales for stores our size. So I don't know. They're selling the crap out of some liquor over there. So I don't really know what to tell you about it as far as their allotment. I mean, they did have to take out a line of credit, so they're paying that back. They did have some upfront expenses and costs. So I think it's just over the first 2 or 3 years as they get back and get settled. They'll be a little under what we budgeted for. That's why I'm going to budget.
They'll start giving us more money because what will happen is there's that formula that you have to calculate what you're required to give, not what you can. And you can give any amount as a board, as an ABC board.
Yeah.
But there's a calculation that says that you must give this amount. Then there's a percentage, like eventually they'll have that loan paid off and that money will start to pile up very quickly. And then that money that they distribute to us will have to go up because they cannot keep more than a certain amount of it. It has to be redistributed back to us unless they decide to do something and they go and request that they keep a percentage more and start building a little more so that they can
Yeah.
build something or something like that. But it will eventually get to where they have to distribute it back.
I think so too. I think we just suffer through the first 2 or 3, 4 years of them having to pay back the line of credit, and eventually they'll get to where they're sending us bukus of money. And, everything else on here is pretty much about the same on this page.
Hey, Nathan, answer a question for me.
Yes, sir.
What do we have parking violations? I mean, when do we issue a ticket for parking violations?
I don't know. When was the last time we did that?
We haven't did it in a while. If you do it, like if you're at Walmart and they park in the fire zone, that's a parking violation. It's a civil matter. They write it. I don't know. We haven't done it in a while. So, I mean, we could start doing it, but in the past, they used to say that it would cost us more to go to court if somebody decided not to pay it versus writing the citation.
Well, they pay here for a parking violation, don't they? They don't go to court with that.
Well, they're supposed to, but how do you enforce it if you don't make them? What's the enforcement on it?
I think that is something that we can look at enforcing. I would like to look at enforcing that in the downtown, especially the downtown, as parking seems to be a constant complaint, and we look at being able to provide more parking. But I think, what's like you said, how do you enforce it if you want to cut out the expense of having us go to court to be able to have this person
We will write it.
force them to pay? But then, you're just writing civil citations and nothing happens to them when they don't pay it.
Would this include parking on the sidewalk in town?
Anything that's deemed, those guys will write your ticket for breathing wrong if you do it. But if you tell them that's what you want, I mean, I think we went away from doing it.
Well, I mean, it's not that big of money, it's just that I always notice we've got money in parking. I've never known anybody getting a parking ticket.
It's been a long time.
How much does a parking ticket cost?
I don't know what it is.
We have to set it in our fee schedule. Yeah. And if we had like a parking ordinance, we'd have to follow that. We'd have a,
Yeah.
We had a parking ordinance and parking meters, like, boom, we could be producing money.
Well,
They
They can well, they got some meter market on watch your tires.
Yeah.
You're still there now.
I pay a ticket every time I go to Boone, I'm sorry.
I'm all about generating revenue, but I'm
Yeah.
parking meters are the answer.
Yeah.
If we had a spot that's just upfitted downtown, maybe,
Well, the honest people are gonna pay the parking.
Yeah.
Hey, next time, don't
But
let it
it's-
see what happens.
Yeah.
So you can tell us what,
What happens if I
Yeah.
don't?
how Boone takes care of it.
Oh.
Yeah, those aren't nice.
Downtown board.
I mean, if you put a boot on it, then you have to pay it. I'm just saying, if there's a boot on your vehicle, then that's a different story.
All right, let's get to page 14 of the budget. Start looking at expenditures. What's 13?
Us. Let's see.
Okay, 13, start looking at expenditures, council. Looking at giving a 3% COLA to all staff, so that would include council, so y'all's salaries went up a little bit. I added some money in the contracted services attorney line item since we did approve utilizing attorney services to generate some downtown incentives. So we're trying to anticipate extra costs in that line item. Everything else was pretty much the same.
Why do we have a fuel cost here? See, I have a question mark over here beside all of these. Like, I question a lot of this. Why do we have fuel under town council? Why are we costing the town fuel?
I guess
I don't cost
well,
fuel.
I don't charge the town a penny
For
going to DEC.
me for neither.
That's why it's there. You can-
But why would I want to do that?
I don't want
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to just take that out of your?
absolutely anything we can do to.
I mean, if we can gain several $1,000s here to spend somewhere else, why not? I mean, when I travel, I don't turn in reimbursements.
Yeah.
And for the past time, I don't think I've, only one time have I ever turned in like a hotel stuff and
Blame the
everything.
hotel. When David and I went to, wherever we went for, of course, me and Ronnie Robinette.
The truck, the utility.
So what typically is the 3,500 or 3,000 miscellaneous stuff for? What?
For when random people come in here and ask you for money, or, like that Girl Scout project a couple of years ago, which, if you haven't noticed, at Madison Park, that equipment's there. The exercise equipment. Stuff like that, they're asking you to donate money to, and, just things that may pop up for civic expenditures that we don't budget for. You know, I think like
Planks, ribbon cuttings,
yeah.
different.
Do we usually use most of it? I mean, what's the travel for?
No, we've only used $985 of it
That's $3,600.
this year, so you got $2,615 left.
I mean, I see over budgeting, you know, that's kind of extreme over budgeting in that.
Okay. You may knock it down to 1,500.
I think so.
I think
What do you
so.
think?
Well, if our historic, we don't go on the past historic portion, how much do we actually spend?
Historically in that line item, or what do you mean?
Well, what has been our history in the past?
Oh, I would have to look at several years. All I can tell you is I just have the report from this year, and so far this year, fiscal year, you've only spent $984.91 out of it.
Say, at least, yeah, say knock it down 1,500.
How much have we spent on the travel?
I didn't go to Main Street.
Yeah, I mean, you should really should be.
Didn't get the bigger.
None.
Okay.
None. Okay. I think we should leave the travel in there, just in case y'all, decide to go to the Main Street conference next year. We'll at least
Okay.
help us compensate that.
That was the only thing I could think of. that it-
So what, did we make a decision on this miscellaneous? We're gonna cut it down to 1,000 or 15? Okay.
15.
That way, if we go over, we don't have to do a budget.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
budget amendment.
That's 1,500.
And how, the advertising, I'm assuming that's the stuff at the radio station, and I hope you're going and using it.
Yeah. Radio and the Times.
Okay.
I'll use just about all of it.
Time shoots us up.
Oh, did it?
We have time, every event, special.
Oh, well, they hit me up too, yeah.
They don't do a PSA for us? Public service
This
announcement?
is for the special.
Like Thousand Blossom, I think, and that little paper.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then like the football.
I say this is football, softball programs at the high school, all that kind of stuff, yeah.
We good on town council?
Well, it's like 211.
That's 3,000.
So what we say there,
What we say?
3,100.
Cross out the fuel and took that down to 1,500.
Yes, plus 31. How much are we off? I heard that laugh. $700,000. We need a corporate sponsor for the tackles.
All right, looking at administration.
Oh, God.
Shut up.
Looking at administration, you see slight increases due to the 3% COLA. FICA went up a whole percent. Insurance is going up. Let's say 7%, Nicole. What was that?
Yes.
7% across the board for that. Dental is going up $1, so it doesn't really count too much. Vision staying the same for our employees. Retirement went up
A whole
percent as well. And so that added to the 401k contribution. So, yeah.
But you don't have any of that in there.
What?
And what we're looking at doesn't have anything in there for.
26, 27.
They've got them out of the agenda packets.
What?
This is
Did you
money.
They've got the agenda packet version of the.
Did you not get the budget out of your box?
Oh, no.
I'll get it for you. I'll get it for you.
I went and got this early and read it and marked on it and done all my stuff. I didn't know to go check. I come sliding in here. I didn't know.
You don't-
Everybody had an idea.
Okay, so you're not retired fully, you're just,
Well,
you're
it was a hack. You're not going to run it at the time.
okay.
We worked on it.
Still doing your
yesterday.
practice.
Everyone wanted it.
Okay.
We finally got the retirement.
And you have your own practice.
Okay.
You already know.
Because I was going, it looks like we're already saving 16% here.
So it wasn't anything.
I was like, that's confusing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
No, that's my fault.
How long did you practice? 14 hours. It's a long time.
So what page were we on?
14.
Oh, and there's highlights. He said highlighted a while ago, and I was like, what's highlighted? There's nothing highlighted.
All right, so we're gonna move down into operations. Contracted services accountant, Greg Isley Group. Last year we budgeted 15,000, we upped that to 30,000. If you look down two more lines, it shows the audit at 30,000, and I reduced that to 15,000. My hope is that we'll select a new auditing firm prior to our next audit, and they'll be substantially less cheaper than Martin and Starnes, and then I can so take a little bit of money and put into the Greg Isley line item to help training us and checking behind us on month to month and year end and all of our financial statements that they're going to have to do to draft for our audit, and train our staff on finance and governmental accounting. Debt book, housing, accounting, tax collection went up a little bit. Debt book's the same. We don't have a contract with Harris Computers anymore. This will be our last year paying for TCP. That was a bad investment. I think it's could be a good thing, but their customer service is horrible, so we're going to split from them. The COG went up just a little bit. You see that in dues. Western Piedmont Council of Government went from 6350 to 6596. We do not have anything in any of the departments for property and liability. You can see that space is left blank because the league is not giving us that percentage increase. Workers' comp did increase slightly in some departments. I did the highlighted portions for training and travel. I did increase that slightly in the admin for Nicole to be able to go to clerk school over the next year and a half that it takes, and for the finance director to go to the school of government, but also go to that school to be a certified finance officer. So that's going to take some money to send to the school of government to attend those classes and stay there. Any questions on the administration breakdown?
Well, overall, in the end, it's not that great of an increase. ends up 1.8.
On operations, telephone staying the same?
Yeah. I was saying that too. We're probably looking at 8% on property and liability. That was the overall increase that they said, but they did not send us the renewal yet, so we don't know. The majority of it, unfortunately for Mike, is PD profession was the biggest hit in property and liability, and I don't think what the other one was. Maybe, I think it was PD, because of the number of wrecks that happened just across the board. So I would say the administration side probably won't see as big an increase.
All right. Any more questions on administration? All right, let's move the page. Skip to the next page, 16 for some reason. Police department budget.
That's good alignment with the new accounting codes. We can change the page number to the bottom for the alignment. But if you look now, the accounting codes go in line. The administration was 5210, it was 5300 and 5310 for public safety. That's why we needed it all in the budget now. Page number.
Salaries for police. See a substantial increase. That's because if you'll also notice down in the operations, about a quarter way down, there's a contracted services for Alexander County SROs. Last year was budgeted at $82,100. This year's budgeted at $31,100 because we're taking back over Taylorville Elementary School. So that's a salary up front that we pay out, and then we receive revenue at the end of the year. So increase in the salaries, and also, like I said, insurance went up. Employee retirement insurance benefit went up. FICA went up 1%. Law enforcement separation allowance is the same. Retirement went up, and 401k contribution went up. All right, looking at operations, the first one that increased was the cellular and air card services, because we have a new SRO. Contracted services went up a little bit. We're looking at utilizing some money for some grant fundings. Axon cameras and data storage, $12,000. This is actually a really good deal. I'm gonna send you all the provide y'all with the information, financial information on the package for adoption of the budget. But it's basically over $100,000, about $104,000 package for $12,000 a year. When you get 15.
Everybody gets a new camera, 2 years. We locked in for 5 years. 2 years. 2 years before we go into come out of the contract, we'll get brand new cameras. Once again, it'll be paid for through that same thing. So it'll upgrade us from one camera system to the new one. And they all work with the tasers as we already had.
It's by the same company that we bought our new tasers from. They provide us with cloud storage for all of our videos we uploaded to. Those are manipulated. So you as an officer, you can go in there, once it's uploaded, you can go in there and change the title to it. Like if you want to put your case number on it, your name, so it's easily identified as your video, but you can't erase it. You can't do anything with it. And then we can also provide that to the DA's office and defense for discovery and superior court trial and even district court and stuff. So I think it's a pretty good package deal for us. We got the 5,000 for the clear thing that I talked about during the budget retreat. Our traffic cameras increased slightly by $14 because we went with a different company. So that's not a huge increase. Department supplies increased that line a little bit for stuff around the office and officers. Fuel, just, we've increased fuel a little bit across the board just because of the way we don't know how fuel prices are going to go. Right now they seem to be kind of somewhat stagnant for this week, so we just expect that gas prices are going to be high for a while. We increased the maintenance and repair automobile line by 5,000. Increased the maintenance and repair equipment by 3. Uniforms. We increased it from 12 to 18,000. That's because the police department would like to purchase Class A uniforms for all officers to wear to court and for special events, like the parade and funerals and stuff. Vehicle equipment increased to 25,000. That's how much it costs to equip a new vehicle when you buy one. And if you'll notice, further down the last holiday, capital outlay, 60,000. That's how much a new police car costs because they don't make the Chargers anymore, and they're only you can only get the Ford Explorer right now, unless there's a separate new vehicle that come out for the police package, and it's $60,000, brand new. We're going to look. We had an opportunity to buy one from the university, somewhere else in the state. They had really low mileage, somewhat brand new. It was in really good condition, but so I picked it up before we could get it. So we're at a much reduced price, and we went ahead and I was done a budget transfer this year and got it. But so they're on the lookout for that kind of stuff, for good deals. So we don't have to pay $60,000 straight out of pocket. We can find one that's 1 or 2 years old that hasn't been rode hard and it's still in good condition. We'll take it, so it's cheaper. And then we can, hopefully make it last. But if we're going to buy one, I think we need to budget as if we're going to buy a brand new one, so that way it's there in case we can't find a good deal.
How's the Ford Explorer working out?
Oh, that's a great vehicle. It's a good one, man. I think that's kind of patrol car everybody needs. It's got plenty of room inside. The apartments in there are good, and if we find another one like that one, it was already police rated before, as soon as you get it, that's going to take a lot of the cost out of it. That's what we're hoping to do. So.
As far as our debt service in the police department, this year should be our last year paying off on the police car we bought when I first got here. Because we only did a 2-year lease. And I do still need to check with Enterprise to see where we are on our lease payments for those 2 vehicles, so we can try to get out of that as soon as possible.
But how much of our budget for the police department this year have we already consumed of the 1.5?
Uh, 69%. So we have enough. We spent 1.1 million. We still got $485,000 left to spend, which a big chunk of that will come out next month when we pay out everybody's holiday time stuff, which is another thing I do want to mention. We put that in salaries to pay. To account for the holiday time that the officers accrue, because it's a different rate than everyone else. And then we always end up having to pay them out one lump sum at the end of the year that we didn't budget for.
So the increase in salaries included extra holiday time?
Extra holiday time, the SRO, and then 3% cost of living adjustment.
And I know I'm about a budget, so
Alexander County was picking up part of that resource officer, and now we're having to pick that
We elected to do it.
up. Pardon?
We elected to do it.
All right, so tell me, explain to me why the citizens of Taylorsville ought to be paying for SRO on a county-funded school.
Because it's a school in our district, Taylorsville Elementary School.
Yeah, but we already pay, our citizens already pay county taxes.
That's a good point
It
there.
is a good point. I don't have an answer to that.
That was a loaded question. I already knew where it was going. I already knew where it was going. I just don't have, I asked that same question to the town manager of Conover about 3 years ago. I'm a citizen of Conover. I pay Conover taxes. I also pay Conover County taxes. The school system is funded by the county. Why should the citizens of Conover subsidize the school resource officer? It's Conover, just because the school happens to be located in the town limits.
Because the school system, in my opinion, doesn't have the money to provide security for the schools, which it is, I would say, their responsibility as the school system to do that, but the state doesn't allocate enough money, so they have to apply for grants to get.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
So they did, when they originally came and asked for the town to cover Alexander Central and Taylorsville Elementary, correct? And the alternative school.
And CPCC.
Well, those were added later because they weren't even in existence when the program started.
Well,
Just
Taylorsville
Taylorsville
Elementary.
and the high school.
Just the high school.
Just, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what we will be covering is Taylorsville Elementary and high school, and then we'll still be contracting with the sheriff's office for them to provide one at the SSC and the college.
So we have to pay, that's a good point. We have to pay the county to
This is not,
protect their own
this is not
schools.
news.
Right.
This ain't news.
But the high school, one of them, the school system reimburses us 100%.
Okay.
The second one at the high school is reimbursed at 50%.
Right.
And then the SSC and
Right.
Taylorsville Elementary has a grant that pays, the state pays up to $44,000 with salary. The school system has to pay another $11,000 of that. And then after that, it becomes expenditures of the town. So while you see it in salary, in the revenue side, you see SRO reimbursement.
Yeah, $200,000.
Yeah, coming in. So it's not.
Oh, no, listen, I knew that. I knew that. I was just trying to stir the pot.
Yes, you were.
It's a valid point.
Yeah, it is.
Your citizens are paying county taxes. Why should you even have to subsidize it one nickel?
Or 1 penny.
Or 1 penny, whatever.
Now, I'm gonna ask this question.
Now, everybody can agree that it's a good idea to have a school resource officer
Oh,
on
you
site.
definitely.
We all agree.
Absolutely.
The question is, should the citizens of the city or the town pay for it, or should the citizens of all Alexander County pay for it?
Now, we took over the high school, right?
Yeah, if we had the high school, we
They
just,
taken over.
we took Taylorsville Elementary back.
I think, Mike, is it required that we have 2 at the high school?
Yeah.
I mean, is it mandated that we have 2, or we just
It's
feel it's
for
best to have
many
2?
students.
It would not be safe to have one.
No, I'm not questioning
I
that.
don't know if it's mandated or not. I just know we've always,
I mean,
I
I think
looked out there
it's
when we had one
Yeah.
for
it's good to have 2 because of the situation.
When you have 2 out there, it allows that one, you will never be without an officer. There should always be one there at all times. It's the biggest place the biggest school, and it's got the most coming and going on both sides. There are people in and out of there the whole time school.
That was my question. Are we going to 100%? Is it going to be covered no matter what?
Yes.
Before the streets are covered, before anything, there's going to be an officer at the high school?
It will never not be covered.
Okay. Because I have had phone calls and concerns about when taking over the SRO that we will be able to hold that position and do it.
Yeah.
Authority. I wanted that question asked, come out, publicly put down.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Whoever it is, tell them that the school will be covered. At all times, the school will be covered.
Okay.
Whoever it is.
Alright.
They can come and see us and sit with us every day if they would like to. But we're gonna cover the schools.
Write that down, okay? So we have it written.
Yeah.
Do y'all have more discussion on, I guess, the contract with Alexander County to provide SROs at SSC and
So we're paying them to put somebody there?
well, we're subsidizing part of their salary and their equipment. Because the grant and the school board,
It's not covered by the grant.
that's not covered by the grant, because the school system and, the grant covers 44,000, and the school matches 11,000 because the sheriff's office pays their SRO is higher than we are, it's like 54. And then whatever apart from that left from equipment comes out to 31,000.
For two people.
For one, it was 82,100. So, I mean, I can print you off the exhibit that they gave us in 22, 23 about how the costs break down. And if you have concerns about us expending those costs for this service, then we can attempt to renegotiate that prior to the school year.
So clarification. So we're budgeting $31,300 or $31,100 to pay the county. Is that right? To make sure that there's SROs at CDCC and
It's just one.
one
They split.
Then they go back and forth.
person that for those two locations.
Right.
We're paying them that, and then we're reimbursed.
We're not reimbursed on that. We're just
Reimbursement
reimbursing
high schools.
Okay, so then we're putting two people at the high school, one person at Tillsville Elementary, and we're getting reimbursed on those.
Yeah.
And all the money to pay them comes out of the salary line,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But no, we don't get paid for all three of them.
Yeah, well, not,
Well, not-
100%.
Yeah.
Right, it costs us
Not
31, we're reimbursed for the other, for the two.
We get 100% reimbursed for one at the high school, 50% reimbursed for the other at the high school, and then the elementary school is what, 50% as well?
Right.
50,
50.
55,000 towards salary, and then we'll cover the rest.
Yeah.
So, but with this budget, the big things that we're getting that are beneficial to the entire community are new uniforms for everybody, a new vehicle, and there was one other thing that was due that I thought.
Body cameras?
Body cameras and the SROs. I think it's a great budget, and that's major positive things for the police department, because they're our number one people out in the field that are interacting with community members.
Are we covered on body armor and tasers?
Yes. We will,
I mean, everybody's got it, or you still buying so many?
we got some orders. When they get in, everybody is covered, and then we're set up where we're gonna recycle on time. When these go out, the next one we will recover those. That's what we were asking you for at the beginning, for you to help us get everybody caught up. And then as the years would go on, we would continue to cycle those out and cycle new ones in. And that's
So
where,
everybody's caught up.
Yes.
once they get here, they will be caught up. But, so yes, with their order,
Oh, so you're just waiting on them?
yes.
And it'll go in this year,
Right.
budget year.
Right.
And then we're gonna start ordering them 4 or 5 at a
Yeah.
time, every so many
Yeah.
So you're
years.
not
so
doing it
that-
all at one time,
Yes.
a bunch at one time.
Same thing with lawnmowers.
Right.
Right.
And weed eaters?
And weed eaters.
Edgers
Edgers would be nice.
Gold.
I think it looks good.
All right, let's move on to the next page, public safety. This is, first line item you see highlighted is the increase requested by the Tazewell Fire Department, which would take their 104,586, 223,600 is 8 cents off from tax rate. So they're requesting $104,586 increase.
Are they requesting from the county as well?
I do not know that.
I'd like to know that.
Okay.
And I'd like to know what do they need versus what do they want?
Did I give you that email that they sent from the last meeting? I think I provided.
I can't remember. I don't remember that.
It's just basically their amount of calls and maintenance of equipment and paying people.
Oh, wait a minute, you might have sent that and I just didn't know what it was, or it was in the back of this packet, wasn't it?
There's a call log, which just shows their call log, because they provided that to me. Then in your agenda packet, it shows you how many calls they had throughout the year in different months. It's this page.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, where's that at?
It's page 54 in your agenda packet.
Okay.
Shows you the number of town calls they had, the number of county calls they had outside the town limits in the county in their fire district, and the mutual aid calls, and then total calls for all of them altogether. They had 993 total calls for the year of 2025.
So it's just about 50.
They could get called to more things than any other department because they're centrally located and can react more quickly than.
I think they may not. I would venture out and say that they may not be requesting more from the county this year because last year the county raised their fire tax, and they did that across the board throughout the county because they were supplementing the fire departments in their general fund. So instead of doing that, they just, hypothetically, like we give them 5 cents of our tax rate, they took that 5 cents back and then just put in a tax rate for a fire tax district. We made that 8 cents, or depending on the district, I think some of them were a little lower, a little higher, and so they got that money back in the general fund, and they just gave them the 8 cents on top. So
this is like they did at the lottery years ago.
yeah.
Pretty much the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Took it back out of the general fund. Oh, this lottery's for the education lottery. And then they took the money that the education lottery generated, took it back and put it into the general fund, and just, there was no up.
Well, I mean, yeah, there was. So if we use us, for example, that we would go to 35 and not give them that 35, and then there would be 8 on top of 35,
Right.
which would push it to 43, and then that 8 would be separate, but we can't do a separate fire tax district. So.
Why can we not do a separate fire tax?
I mean, legally we probably could, but we also contract with the county to do our tax collection, and their software won't allow a separate line on the tax bill to say town fire tax, so we would just have to roll it in there together. And we did that.
Your tax bills, where the fire tax is, that 99 that it puts in there, because the fire tax is the town tax. And they only have one line, or the billing software only allows for one line there, so you couldn't have the 99 for the town and then add the 8 or whatever the number is for central identity. Yeah.
Do we know how much money the fire department's sitting on as far as cash?
No.
I mean, they're almost asking for 100% increase.
Yeah.
88%.
That is quite big.
I mean, that's a big chunk.
That's a lot. That's a big.
That's a big jump.
That's why I was asking, I just would like to, if they're even asking
just to know, just to have that verification if they are asking or requesting the county as well. I mean, since they're
What-
asking,
What does the county pay the Central Fire Department?
I don't think they give them as much as they give.
I don't give them anything, they have a fire tax.
Right.
That's
So
right.
this
So
is,
They
what is
are
that?
not
I guess what I'm
funding
asking is, what is that amount? Do you know?
About 600,000. Yeah. That's what it equates to.
bigger tax base than,
Right.
and entity. I mean, we can't do that.
I mean,
That's.
well, technically, I mean, you could
See,
go on,
technically, the county's not giving them anything. That fire tax is completely separate. They
Well,
don't have
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you could,
That
That's
comes
all- that's-
totally from the citizens, not
Yeah.
from them.
Straight from the citizen, right?
Right,
It's a
whereas
tax.
ours
I got that.
comes just from
That's
us.
coming from every
Well,
citizen.
this is
Town,
also-
and everything.
this number
But
is
all
also
the town
based
citizens
off,
don't pay the county fire tax.
Town citizens don't pay the county fire tax.
No.
Well, that's good, they're paying them. I mean,
Right.
what we're doing.
Yeah, so what we give is not extra from what they get from the other county citizens. It just, before last year, it matched. The 5 cent matched what the county was, and then they went up on it too.
Gotcha.
So they didn't have to subsidize out of the general fund.
I misunderstood. Yeah, I thought it was
that number
on top of what
it
was.
should be about $20,000 less. It should be 203,014. So you can cross that out, 203,014. That's what would be their amount allotted to them if we went from giving them 5 cents to 8 cents, which is what they have requested. It would be 203,014.
And what's the red?
That was the difference I calculated between the two, so that's, you can mark that out as well. You can just see what that difference is. It's about $82,000.
Can you go back to them and ask them, you know, that, would they reconsider their request, because we've got a little bit of heartburn from the town council. We've got some questions, maybe not heartburn, but could you go back and negotiate with them and ask them to sharpen their pencil?
Well, they're gonna get a huge jump from the county,
For what?
because the county's gone from 5 to 8, right?
Well, they did that last year.
Oh, they did it last year.
But they took away, they were giving them an extra $60,000 or $80,000 out of the general fund on top of the 5. They quit giving them back and up the fire tax. That way, the county kept that money in their,
Yeah, but was that neutral for them?
pretty much.
So they're not losing.
Well, no, actually, they gained some.
So the fire department gained some off of the fire tax.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
It's me.
I don't think it's really a conversation of sharpening their pencils. I think, you know, they suffer from the same thing the police department probably suffers for. It's just expensive to operate a public safety organization. You know, you got large equipment that people don't make for cheap, and it breaks at some point in time. You got equipment like vests, and tasers, and oxygen tanks, and masks, and jackets, and stuff that you have to replace every so
Well, they did get smart this past year, and they did do a Rotary grant application to purchase a 4x4 or something like that, and they got that Rotary Club grant and was
That
able.
was for, so
A side by side?
we did the grant with them to get the side by side.
Yeah.
Theirs was for some type of gas regulator or.
I don't know, it was
Side by side.
They did a couple of grants. They had a couple of
They
grants.
did a couple grants.
They did a couple of grants last year.
They're wanting a new truck, is what Matt told me.
I was gonna say, with this kind of request, there has to be a truck involved.
It's a 4-year wait on the truck.
Oh, yes.
And
I watched a news story on
Absolutely.
the cost of fire trucks and what 5 years ago would have cost them $500. Now it's costing $900 to $1 million for one truck, and fitted specifically for that fire department, and it's insane. And there's a wait, like you said, a 40-year,
You know, you would think we would get a good deal on a fire truck, but since we have a fire truck company in the county, I mean,
They don't
You know?
build them in our county though.
They just fit 'em.
they just upfit them.
I think the builder's out of Georgia or something, there's a company out of Georgia, I believe.
I'm like the mayor, I like to make the request, you know, what are they planning to do with this money? Where is it? Do we know exactly what the county's giving them? You know, I wanna treat them like we do our police department. They need to have what they need. Because when I make that phone call, just like anybody here, we want to make it.
Right.
And so that's when Dawn came in there.
And not just being involved.
And not just, not showing because I'm grilling out on the porch.
But then Dawn took all of it. And my friends went on business. So.
Well, I'd like to know what do they have in their savings accounts?
I mean, if it's a need, is it gonna give, I think everybody needs to hear what I'm about to say.
What?
If what they're requesting the money for is a true need, that we know that this is one of the things that we need to fund and do for our community, and if it's a true need, then why can't we add 3 cents to the tax rate to make that happen? It's not an election year, it ain't gonna kill you, and we should never have dropped it when we did. We should have left it where it was when it came out instead of dropping it down because of the fear of everybody going crazy. And so now we're back to the same place where we were. I mean, we've never moved from that location. Had we left it alone, we wouldn't be here looking at not an unbalanced budget because we'd have had the money. So
I don't think that necessarily solves your problem operationally, just giving them 3 cents.
right, I know, but a lot of other things resolved themselves, which
Right.
made it much better. And so anyway, I mean, does 3 cents give you heartburn?
Any tax increase gives me a heartburn. Because remember, we got revow coming up in a year and a half. And it's not looking good.
We definitely can't do it in a reval year, so we need to do it now because
18 to 20.
What typically happens in a reval year typically is that the rate drops in theory to match the increase in the base.
To be revenue neutral?
In theory.
Yeah, in theory.
we can't keep going revenue neutral because we don't have enough revenue.
But we haven't gone revenue neutral. We've not gone revenue neutral.
We haven't gone revenue neutral, but we still don't have enough revenue to operate.
Exactly. Because everything across the board has increased. Not
And we keep going down
necessarily
instead of staying the
That's
same
out of our
or going up.
control, the way everything has increased. It's just the way it is right now. You know, but we've got to meet that. You can't just say, okay, well, I mean, you've got to meet that increase. But we can't. It's not coming out of.
And our citizens deserve the services. They deserve the best fire department. They deserve the best police department. They deserve the best town services. That's what they're paying taxes for.
Right, but if you're gonna give them a big level of service, you have to recoup a big level of revenue.
Right.
You can't give them big levels of service with a little bit of tiny bit of revenue.
There's nothing funded.
There's nothing funded. And I know that. We're all taxpayers. We just also have to work for the government. So I can get it. Like nobody likes paying more than they have to.
Anybody here live in the city limits?
Not this one. Kind of
City limits.
So the only decision we're making is raising our own taxes,
Exactly.
if that's the case, so.
Yeah.
It's a good argument for your side, but you're saying, I pay them too.
Yeah,
I mean, you know? Yeah, I know.
But I mean, I'm looking at all the yellow, and those are increases that are because of just everything, the price of everything going up.
But the actuality is that the tax rate is 35 cents, and it's based on covering everything, and then we take 5% of that right off the top and give it to the fire department rather than having a fire tax. So if there was a fire tax that matched the county fire tax that was separate from our taxes, then they would understand that they're paying the same thing that everybody in the county is paying. Right now, they're not paying anything fire tax. It's just going into our tax base, and then we are deciding that we're gonna take 5 cents of that and give it to the fire department. Or if we give them 8 cents of that, then we really gonna have to cut some positions and stuff because
So we can't give
we can't do that.
No, we
You
can't.
can't give them any increase unless you raise the taxes. You can't give them anything out of what we got now.
That's
We don't have enough for what we got now. Why don't you just give them their own tax rate, the fire tax?
I mean, that would be better. I mean, I know it's a tax raise. I mean, ultimately, that's a 5 cent tax raise, how you look at it. I get it.
Yeah, it's a 5 cent tax raise. I would have to do
Or
the
5%.
calculations to see how much more revenue that would give them, but, you know, if you tax them at 40 cents per $100 assessed value rather than 35, how much more would I give them 5 cents? Come up with that.
Yeah, this is worse than education.
Do you just do 5 or do you match the county's tax rate, fire tax?
It was 6, right?
It was
They
8.
do 5, they get exactly what they get now.
They get 5, they get exactly what they get now.
So they're asking us to go to 8, right?
They are actually doing that. You don't have to.
But we're not doing it out of our
We're not doing that.
No, we can't do that. So we either do fire tax or, I don't know.
What if you added a 6 cent fire tax
Just gave them 6.
and you took the five, well, if we're gonna do 6, then do 6 and that, so it'd be 41. And that gives them a little bit more, but not, you know, not what they asked for.
Okay, I'll work on that and send it to you.
Well, wait a minute, we need to know where everybody kind of feels about it, because if 3 people say absolutely not, then there's no use in you wasting your time doing it, because it's not
I
an
mean, I'm
option.
all for an increase for them, I get that, just like I said before. The cost of everything and to run everything has gone up.
I mean,
And so, but I just say, we can't do that out of our budget
I mean, we can't keep adding services
without,
not generating the
Tax coming
revenue to provide for them.
right.
I mean, we rely heavily on the sales tax, and that's great that we have such a commercial presence in town with Walmart and Food Line and all of our small businesses and all these fast food chain restaurants, and they really provide a great benefit revenue-wise to the town. But we can't always rely on, hopefully, sales tax will save us. We never know what the economy's going to do.
It's kind of like, I mean, would we not do anything if it was water? If water was going up for this thing? Or we needed, you know, I mean, we just can't do more with less money. That's like education. Educate these kids and get them up to the standard, but we're gonna take half your salary. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And half your resources too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead and do more of it.
Right.
No offense to y'all. I live in the county. I live in Central Alexander Fire District. For the same service y'all get, I'm paying 8 cents on my tax rate. But y'all are only paying technically 5.
No, technically nothing. We're paying it to the town, and the town,
Right,
and
but
the
it
board
amounts
is
to five.
deciding.
But it still comes up to
Yeah.
5.
I mean, technically speaking, y'all could just not give them any money at all. That would be horrible.
Oh, no, I would never, no.
I mean, it's only gonna get more and more expensive for them to operate, and luckily they're not a town department, because that would be an astronomical expense that, our tax rate would be so high.
Let's float the idea of 6 and see what they say. Okay, everybody,
So it's exactly so.
Well, wait a minute, are you wanting to raise the tax a penny?
No, it's 6.
to a fire, just tell them that we want to go to a fire tax, and it'll probably be 6 cents. That will give them an increase, right? But see how that, would y'all be comfortable with that or not?
But the question I'm asking, is that a 1 cent increase to the taxpayers? Are we just gonna give the fire department 6 cents versus the 5?
No, I don't have 1 cent in the current budget to give them, that would be
Yes.
6 cents.
So that penny's gonna have to come from the residents of the town of Taylorsville.
Yes. Are you all
That's
saying?
not exactly what I meant.
Are you saying give them, you saying raise the tax rate 1 cent and then give them 6, or raise it 6 cents and give them that 6 and we
That's
take
what
back
I was
the 5?
saying. Raise it 6 and give them 6. That's what I was saying.
Okay, well, you really, I'm gonna something on this lifesaver here.
I
So,
need one too.
We wanna raise our tax rate to 6 cents? You wanna raise,
Want to raise,
Our tax,
put
6
a
cents.
fire tax in, period.
and we keep the 5 and give them the 6. But the residents are gonna pay 6 cents more, is what you're advocating. Or suggesting.
The residents are
I
gonna
mean,
start
some of
paying.
it
Well,
works.
they're not paying the fire, they're not paying the fire
tax now.
right now.
Right, there, we don't have
And
a
The
fire.
county is,
But then.
But what you're saying is, raise the town taxes 6 cents. Have an increase from 35 to 31 to 41, is what you're saying. Is that what I'm hearing? Because
I'm open to anything in between.
if that's what the city fire tax does, then yeah.
I agree with
That's what I'm saying.
Tamara, things have gone up, but not 88%.
Oh, this,
We'll be
look,
lower
6
than
cents
that.
wouldn't even give them that.
I understand
Wouldn't
that.
even
I
close to
understand
that.
We
But-
need to close to that.
Y'all ask me where I stand, I am not a vote yes for a tax increase.
What was the tax rate decrease from whenever
40.
23?
It's 40 something.
Was it 42?
It went down to 35.
35.
Cents and down
Yes.
35.
Yes. It was a
Did you
significant
say
drop.
44? Yeah, it was.
7
big.
cents. So what?
I think mine was 42.
It was 42 and you dropped it to 35.
29 and a half was revenue neutral.
So you're not even, with 6%, you're not even putting it back where it was originally. I mean, that's right below it,
This is the conversation, Well, what all do you want to do in the town? What all do you want to provide the town with, the residents with? Because that's how we operate. Like, they pay us money. So we can only provide them with so much when we tax them at this level, tax them at that level, tax them at that level. Like, so there has to be, you have to be willing to say, we're not going to fund the fire department as much as the fire department is requesting to be funded because we don't want to tax the taxpayers so much. Or we're going to fund the fire department at the level they would like to be funded, or at a level we feel they need to be funded, and this is how much we're going to tax the taxpayers. You know, we do that. It's not a decision you have to make today, so we're not voting on it today, but it is something that needs to be contemplated. I know y'all are elected, I'm not, so it's different, but
It'd be interesting to see what else we want to do and what's that price tag. I mean, this is just one entity, the fire department.
That's an operational cost. We wouldn't just, that would be something that we fund year after year. Some stuff we want to do would be one-time purchase.
No.
Other things we have to figure out how to fund year over year.
What, this?
Your checklist, that right there.
That's something that they have to have.
Fire department's on it. We just gotta change the price. It's under, it's the first one under service operation increases. You just change it from 223,600 to,
Zero?
Whatever you want.
203,014. Cause that would be, that would be 8.
That would be the 8%.
That would be the 8%.
So with the 6%, it would be $199.
1 cent on our tax rate is just under $28,000. So you just wanted to multiply 28 by 6, that'd be $168,000.
So, or if you added an 8 cent to them, to the 35, that makes it 43 cents. What if 4 cents of that comes straight from that 8 cent that we added and we only give them 4, then that puts 1% of what we were giving them back into the overall budget. Or if we only want to do 6. What?
So we're at 35, we go to 43.
Mm-hmm.
So we give them 8 off of that, or 6 off of that?
Oh, I was saying if it was 8, we'd go to 43.
Right,
But if
because
it's 6, we're only going to 41.
Alright, so if it was 8, we're going to 43, and then we're keeping the 5? The 5 off the...
No, I'm saying we could give them the whole 8, but then 4% of it would come out of our money and 4% would come out of the 8 that we added to it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Collected, it's all your money.
Right.
Right.
Right, but I just think you have to make it make sense as to why we need to do it. They need to understand that they have not been paying a fire tax at all. We've been deciding to give that money to the fire department, which we could have given 0, but we felt like we needed to give them a fire department, so, to supplement the fire department. So we were giving them 5%. That is a huge percentage of 35 cents.
Yeah.
So, and everybody else in the county pays a separate fire tax. So think of it as 2 separate entities. So then that's why I said 6, because they requested 6, so therefore it would have put it at 41. But if we want to stay at our level of donation, then we separate it out and we say 5 cents, because that's what we've been giving them. We've always been giving them 5 cents. So it's going to go to 40. You're paying 35 cent town tax plus 5 cents fire tax. Whatever the number is that everybody's comfortable with. But I don't think we can keep going up and giving them more and more and more without having a true fire tax.
Right.
That's separate from our operation.
Yeah, we can only give them what we currently give them. So if we give them any more, it would require a tax increase.
You give them fire tax right now without increasing taxes at all. If you're doing 5.
Well, it says we're decreasing the tax rate by 5 cents to give them a fire.
Yeah.
And
So
No
basically,
matter how much money do you want in your budget,
we would have to increase taxes if we're gonna have a fire department increase. Is that what you're saying? I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying, is that what?
For funding the fire department, yes.
Can we see what else we got to be looking at?
Yeah, let's move on.
I'm sure we want to do something else other than giving the fire department money.
All right, Parks and Recreation. First thing, we're gonna like to do a Parks and Rec master plan. It'll be about $53,000. That's in your agenda packet. If you look, should be one of the last things. Yep, page 58 of your agenda packet. That is a task order from McGill Associates out of Hickory. Honestly, they're just the firm that built Stigler Park in Bessemer City. I know they do pretty well with the parks. They're on our on-call for engineering services, so I got a quote from them. Also provided you a separate handout from the COG for a quote from them for a Parks and Rec master plan. It's about half the price, but my opinion would be to go with McGill and the engineering firm. Just go ahead and have an engineering firm. I'll give you a Parks and Rec master plan that can look at Matheson Park and the potential upgrades we can make there, Town Park behind Town Hall for the potential upgrades we can make there, and looking for a new site to build a sports complex at some point in time, and then working with us through after the Parks and Rec master plan to go through several different funding mechanisms to be able to actually construct something of that size. So if this would be a one-time purchase, we would have to, I would allocate the money from that out of the CD that we pull from across the street. So that wouldn't be a yearly operational cost. You would just pull some money to be able to pay for that one time and meet that service.
And would they oversee everything all the way through to whenever the project was completed? And like, or is it gonna be, we keep having to pay them? And what about Western Piedmont County, about the COG? Is this a one-time payment for a plan, and then if we were to actually start doing stuff, then there'd be another expense? Or,
Well, there's always
like, is it a true savings, or is it a disguised savings in that there's gonna be a lot more that we have to?
No, these are well, there's always going to be more. These are the costs of the plan. So once you move past the plan and move into further work after that, there's costs associated with that. You can obviously go with someone else other than McGill or the COG after the plan to do that. This is just getting us started. If we're going to apply for Part F, we got to have a Parks and Rec master plan. If we're going to apply for any other type of grants, we got to have a plan in place of how we're going to increase our parks.
Okay. You said you would recommend going with McGill over the COG. What's the difference in the two?
I just think McGill will give us a better product.
That's what they do.
At the same cost.
No, this one's.
One of the things has to do with water and sewer, stormwater. I mean, there's engineering. So they do,
This is
they have
in the
land
handout.
planning and site planning and all that stuff.
This was over here.
This was in your packet.
Yeah.
This is,
Oh, here.
So this wouldn't come out of our budget, so to speak.
Not out of our operational budget. I would pull it out of the CD this summer when it matures and we have to renegotiate for next year. We would pull out whatever number of stuff y'all want to fund one time. We pull it out and put it into our account at the management trust. So it'll just sit there until we pull it out. We don't have any penalties for pulling it out. If we pull the money out of the CD right now, it would be a $50,000 penalty per withdrawal. So,
Gotcha.
but if you do it during the summer, there's no penalty.
no, because it opens, it matures, and you have a renewal phase. Looking further at Parks and Rec, I have in everything's pretty much the same except for capital outlay. We put $100,000 in that, which would also come out of the CD. That's to we're working with the high school right now to try to get a project together where we just provide the materials and they build a new bathroom facility down there. So not sure if that's going to work out yet, but we're started that. And then, if y'all want to see any improvements at Town Park back here this year, or like we talked about at the budget retreat, or would y'all rather wait and do the Parks and Rec master plan first, and then start making improvements at Town Park or Madison Park? I do think that we do at least need to do something to the bathroom facility down there.
Is there a way to put, or I don't know, how are the doors locked at the bathroom at Madison Park? So, but are they on a timer, like they unlock at a certain time and maybe open at a certain time? Okay.
They unlock at 6 a.m., close at 8:30. That's helped a lot.
Do we have a person that specifically just goes and checks things down there in the mornings and makes sure that Scotty's the greatest?
Yeah. He goes down there and mops the floors, cleans the bathrooms. Now, the bathroom at the shelter itself doesn't have a magnetic lock.
He has to unlock it.
No,
It's
it
only
stays
unlocked for
unlocked all the
reservations.
time.
Oh, unlocked all the time?
Except for winter time. Yeah.
How often is it vandalized?
Not as bad as it used to be.
Why does it not have a magnetic lock, a timer lock like the others?
We didn't have a place. The magnetic locks are in the storage room in the middle of the
Bathrooms.
facility. That's where we house the unit and the controls there. We don't have that area on that bathroom unless you're doing something overhead in the attic. We also have to, that door won't shut all the way. It needs to be replaced to be able to. We want to do it, it's just cost.
There's been a lot of complaints about Madison Park. Something that does need to be done with Madison Park. I mean, it's just continuing to get worse and worse, so, yeah.
We are making strides forward, but.
Right.
What are the complaints? I haven't had a complaint about this before.
Well, it's the homeless, the bathrooms, just the lighting at Madison Park.
Alright, let's start over here. So that's what's there for the capital outlay. 100,000 for potentially the bathroom project and 52 for the Parks Rec Master Plan. Moving on to the next department, tourism. Everything's pretty much the same except for the Midnight Center. They requested 2,500 instead of 1,500, so I went ahead and put that in there. Y'all can deny that if you want to. Main Street downtown development and TDA. I put the TDA there for the Tedford Development Alliance. It was my hope at some point in time we would sell this urgent care building, so then we could give them some of that money as like seed money. Hopefully that'll happen at the beginning of May, middle of May now. So my intention is still to ask y'all to give them part of that money. Is there any other money further out of the city that y'all want to give them as initial seed money, or do y'all want to look at providing some type of annual appropriation to that nonprofit? We don't have any sources of revenue right now. I haven't given them any money, so I don't have anything to do. Or I don't have any money to do anything with. So we kind of want a little bit of direction from you all on how y'all want to treat the nonprofit to do economic development projects, how you want to see it funded until they're several years down the road and have created their own revenue streams. I've also put in contracted services down here, 50,000 for marketing and branding project. That's the highest ceiling I have on some previous quotes I did. I went to Vesper and did a community branding project there. And the lowest was like 15 grand and the highest was like 60. So I just stuck 50 in there until I can, until y'all tell me y'all want to fund it. I guess we can look at getting some actual quotes. But it's also just going to sit in the capital management trust until we and draw interest off of that until we spend it. Also put 275,000 for a land purchase. We've been talking about doing an economic development project where we purchase some land and build a building, or we purchase a building downtown. So is that something that y'all want to see appropriated out of the CD to be able to do? So we do our own economic development project, do it through our nonprofit and work with our nonprofit to do it.
How much money is in this CD?
That's 7 million.
a little different.
But, like I said, we use that interest we draw off of it to make capital purchases, so, when we pull out of it, we draw less interest on it. And eventually, we don't want to get to where we're pulling from it to supplement the operations.
Right.
So, we just want to use it for one-time purchase. It's a savings account, like when your refrigerator breaks, you got to buy a new one.
So how much does a $1 million withdrawal affect? Like, does it buy a car and a building or land and
Well, as you can see
parts thing and
on the very first page, you can see we budgeted as if we pulled $750K from the CD, so our investment earnings in the general fund side dropped 17.4%. And then I skip forward to water and sewer, the investment earnings dropped 4%.
That's 5% of $1 million because of 50,000. 4%, 40,000, so on. So 10,000 per percent. Per million. Yep.
so you're saying we can almost do everything off this sheet right here from money from the CD. If it opened up, you could take that. If you did that, these are the things you could get.
Yeah, minus the services, so it'd just be the 897. The services, we wouldn't want to separate with fund balance. That would be operational expenses.
These are one-time purchases. They're not something you're gonna have to pay yearly. These
Right,
are
because he
just
just
like
said he
one-time
didn't have,
purchases.
he wants to put money in from the sale of that thing individually.
Mhm.
So the top portion of this could come from that. Can we throw in the police car in there, or is it just an expenditure that's not allowed? It's a one-time purchase. And you don't have the lease on
Well, I would argue that it's not, because we're going to have to purchase one every year for a few years to replace our fleet, because God's not allowed doing that. So,
it. Right.
I want to just start. Yeah, we got $7 million there we can pull from. We need to be strategic on exactly what we pull from in case.
Catastrophe.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
So we don't want to just spend 3 of it and only have 4 there, and then the treatment plant blows up, and then we don't have anybody to start putting towards fixing it.
Yeah, but that's an enterprise fund. It's a different business.
Right, but our CD is 60/40 water, sewer, general fund. So 70% of the $7 million is 60% is water and sewer. Yeah. So really, you got like $3.5 million to play with for the majority of this stuff up top.
You also got to remember.
Yeah, but that's not even one.
Is there an amount we have to keep in, is there an amount we have to keep, not that, I'm not advocating spending everything, I'm just saying, is there an amount that we allocate to keep?
8%.
You talking about what your,
Fund balance.
what's your fund balance
Restricted
basically?
Fund balance, yeah. I think it's 8% of your operating budget.
Yeah. So yeah, we couldn't get below 8% of what
Right.
to be able to.
And you wouldn't want to.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
You need to get close to that.
In
You gotta
case
remember too, your general fund, how much money are you putting back this year? You're scrounging to find money. So if you're scrounging to find money now and spend your fund balance, then next year, what are you doing where are you ever going to generate the money back to replenish that
Right.
too?
So are you saying it's not a good idea to take this money out, like to get money out of the CD to do?
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, make sure you're wise with your decisions, because it's a lot easier to spend $750,000 out of your fund balance than it is to put it back in your fund balance. A lot of that money that's in there now was CARES Act money, COVID money, it wasn't generated
Off of
by
any type of
revenue by the
operation.
town itself.
We was sold those two houses.
Right, yeah.
A lot of these things though that we're looking at are, and can possibly create revenue though,
At some point in time.
which is
down the road, yes.
what we need.
Yes.
Yes.
So
It's
that's-
I mean, we gotta do something. to
That's
create
spending
revenue.
money wisely in
It is,
future
because
to
it's-
generate income.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. It will bring it back to you
Yeah.
eventually.
it's just ripping the band out.
I know, but you gotta invest. I mean, you gotta invest.
We have to
You gotta
invest
start
first,
somewhere.
I would say.
Yeah, you gotta spend money to make money.
That's exactly right.
So are we like to a point where we don't have cemetery plots that we have to take these trees down to have plots? Are we out of space?
The tree removal on this list is for, liability purposes. They're overhanging graves. It's the trees on, or a couple of the trees on the Cole Campbell side.
Okay.
Overhanging graves that if a wind drops, it's gonna smash a stone and gonna cost you money.
We're gonna move on to buildings. There is $100,000 in capital for buildings. That's for town hall renovations. We'd like to make some room here. Create some more office space. We got a new finance director coming in, and they'll switch some offices around, create some more space. And it's gonna take some money. So that's $100,000 in that. Everything else above that is pretty much the same except for utilities. Those went up in every board because due their rates. They don't have the property liability, rental property. Nothing's changed in rental property. Let's look at cemetery real quick, which is page 22 of the budget. Got the contracted services for GIS mapping of cemeteries, be $10,000 a year for 2 years. And then maintenance and repair grounds, got $17,500 in that line item to be able to take down the trees. Well, is that for the trees or just the trees and the headstones? Or just the
That
trees?
was,
The trees are listed on this one sheet as 10,000.
No.
that gave us $4,500 to work on stones. That's not gonna, that was actually about half of that.
It's 17,500.
Yeah, minus
This
10.
is 17,500.
Well, it's 3,500 to begin with.
Yeah,
and it's
35. Well, $3,500 to begin with is what it costs, what we spend in maintenance and repair of grounds this year.
Okay.
And then an additional $4,000 for potentially doing a section of the stone repair, and then the $10,000 for the tree. The $10,000 is a rough number. We may get a little cheaper. I'm hoping 10 was the top end of it. It just tells they'll probably need a crane to do the one over the stones to be able to take it out section by section, or over to the other side. I was gauging it off of what it cost us on Winds Mountain Road to take those trees down.
And they'll all go out for bids, right?
All right, let's move on to streets and sanitation. Increase the salaries a little bit because now guys are going to be helping out of the streets and sanitation some to help the brush pick up. We put the Christmas light and installation removal in the operation budget, but it's $10,000 a year for 5 years. Where we can purchase some new Christmas lights every year for 5 years, and they'll be the new LED ones, and then just the cost of having them installed and removed. Put a streetscape design. I'm going to take that out and put it into planning and development. That's for, since we're having an express design done on traffic patterns within town, roundabouts, and we're also having our main water line replaced. I'd like to have a streetscape design done of how that streetscape can mirror our new traffic patterns with sidewalks and pedestrian crossings and things within the downtown to make it more pedestrian friendly. And that's going to cost a little bit of money that we pull out of the CD and also use. So that way, if we have that, and we have the express design from the state, from the DOT, hopefully we can apply for some money from somewhere to put in some of these traffic patterns and then put our sidewalks back the way we want it and replace our water line. You can see departmental supplies increase. We're going to purchase some decorative trash cans to put downtown, and then to do a marketing campaign, we can have them put some emblem on there. Fuel increase, maintenance and repair equipment increase because our tractor, we're going to have to purchase more tires for it. It's already at 440 hours, and it's only 2 years old. Sidewalks increase, so we could pressure wash the sidewalks. And then tipping fees for solid waste increased $13,000 at the county for brush. And capital outlay is at $40,000 for a new brush truck, because Scotty's brush truck needs a running ghost truck.
Could you just touch on the sidewalks?
Yeah, just for cleaning sidewalks.
Cleaning sidewalks, yeah.
But you're in desperate need of it, just in case you don't know, they have the little lines from the center of the road all over them.
All right, we're going to skip forward to page 30. Enterprise fund revenues. Everything here is pretty much the same except for miscellaneous went from $250 to $50,250 because we're currently looking at accepting septic haulers from inside the county and having them dump into the treatment plant.
Where we at?
Page 30. And then have it, what was the term used? Water.
Neutralize chemicals.
When they first dump, we do something with the water before we
Decant it.
decant it or take use. So
We're gonna try to help. We don't promise anything. And also the second it starts causing us expense on the treatment plant side, we'll probably cut it. I know we've been approached numerous times about it. The only way that we can really do it is if they were to empty into a digester right there at the treatment plant building. They'll have a screen that they'll have to dump in and to throw out the trash, and have a little in the dumpster, of course. And then that, from that digester, it'll get pumped up to our bigger digester that's on the other side of the treatment plant on the hill. It'll get mixed with waste from our current treatment plant operations that's less potent to hopefully help dilute it. It'll be aerated, and then once it's aerated, it'll sit and settle